All right, so today I'm going to go through this activity with you. Does the type of SAT prep matter? And we're going over some different types of experiments that you could design. So again, this is just me going through the lesson with you as if I was your partner. There will be another video of the important ideas to be pointed out. So this one says DHS has decided to offer an SAT prep class again this year. It will be offered in 2 different formats, online or classroom teacher. The counselors want to know which teaching method will yield higher SAT scores, so they have allowed us to set up an experiment. 50 students have signed up to take some form of the SAT prep class. We've got 20 seniors and 30 juniors. So question 1 asks us to outline a completely randomized design to compare the 2 treatments. And I highlighted outline because anytime you see this outline word, what we're going to do is create one of those diagrams like we did the other day in class. And so this is where I'm going to start with my experimental units first. So in this case, if I just want to do a randomized design, just very simple to compare the 2 treatments, I'm going to group all of the students together. So I'm going to take all 50 students. They are my experimental units. So we've got all 50. And I'm going to take them into some random assignment. All right, now we're going to assign them to their groups. So we'll have 2 groups, group 1 and group 2, because remember we want that, we need the group for both different types of courses. And in this example, if I'm doing random assignment and I have 50 students total, I'm going to want 25 students in each group. That way they're roughly equivalent. Let's say then group 1 gets assigned the online class, and group 2 is the teacher, in-person teacher course. And then after they're done with that, we're going to come back together and compare SAT scores. And again, remember, in this example, it just wants us to compare the 2 treatments. It doesn't say anything more specific about the people that we're comparing or anything like that. So that's why I knew to just take all 50 students together and then go through a normal experiment as we've done before. Now in question 2, it adds a little bit more. So the counselors at DHS hypothesized that the online versus classroom results could be greatly affected by the grade level of students that were put into each treatment group. They know that seniors generally score better on the SAT than juniors. How could we adjust our experiment to ensure that there is an even split of seniors and juniors in each class? Draw an outline again with the modifications. So if I want to control the fact that we have even numbers of juniors and even numbers of seniors, I think, what if I just did this same type of design that we did in number 1, but I do it for both the senior group and for the juniors group? So what I'm going to do is, again, start with my total. I've got 50 students. And I'm going to break them up into the 20 seniors and, 30 juniors. Now, within each of these subgroups, and we actually call them blocks, but I'll get to that in the next video. In each of these blocks, we are going to perform like a mini experiment that we did above. So I'm going to take the 20 seniors. I'm going to give them a random assignment. They're going to go into, say, group 1 and group 2. And we would end up having then 10 in each since there's 20 seniors total. And let's say that group 1 is the online course. Group 2 is the teacher course. And then we're going to compare scores of these two groups. And I'm going to do the same thing for the juniors. So they're going to go into some random assignment. We're going to put them into groups. I'm going to label my groups differently, maybe group A and group B, just so they don't get confused with the groups I have above, right, because they're separate. So we'll say 15 in group A, 15 in group B, because that's just 30 divided by 2. And then group A maybe is online, group B is the teacher course. Come back together, compare scores. And then ultimately, I do want to know, like, did this actually affect the results? So I'm going to come together at the very end, combine the results, and compare one final time. All right. And then in number 3, it says the counselors are now worried that a student's GPA is certainly going to affect their SAT score. Let's look at only the juniors, okay, so only the 30 juniors. We want to be sure that the different GPAs are being evenly distributed into 2 treatment groups. How could we be sure GPAs are evenly distributed? So the problem with GPAs is that it is a number that could be like anywhere in between like 0 and 4, right? Or sometimes even greater than 4. But you've got like a 3.2, a 3.3, a 3.4. And so there's so many different GPAs you could have. It's really hard to just say, all right, so I'm going to do a group for the GPA of 1, a group for 2, a group for 3, a group for 4, and let that go, and then just compare that way. And so we're going to design this a little bit differently. Instead, I'm just going to say, let's put, we're going to put the juniors in order from highest to lowest GPA. So I'm going to get them in order from highest to lowest GPA. Then I'm going to take the 2 students with the highest GPAs and, well, that would make sense. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to fix this word. Okay, take the 2 students with the highest GPAs and I'm going to pair them together. Because if I pair them together, then I can randomly assign one to one and one to the other. And now I'm going to make 2 groups that has somebody, it's almost like somebody from all of the different levels of GPA. So I'm going to pair them together. Then what I want to do is randomize which one goes to what. So maybe because it's just 2 people, rather than do the random number generator, I just flip a coin. That is totally okay too. So flip a coin to assign 1 to the teacher class and 1 to online prep. So now I've got 1 in each, and then I'm going to repeat this process with the next 2 highest GPAs all the way down until I get everybody assigned. until all 30 juniors are assigned. Not a room, of course. And notice in this problem it didn't say outline, so that's why this time I'm just writing it down. I'm explaining what I would do. So this way, in this type of a design, I'm able to actually compare like the two people that had the highest GPAs. I'm going to compare how the prep classes affected them. The two people with the second highest, I'm going to compare, and here I'm going to compare them directly. So I'm going to have kind of like the two different groups, who's in online and who's in prep. But I'm not going to just compare the two groups. I'm going to actually directly compare the two that I had paired together in the first place. So the two people with the highest GPA, once this is over, I'm going to come back and compare those two to each other. The two people with the lowest GPA, I'm going to come back and compare those two with just each other. All right, so go ahead and watch the next video to go over some of these important ideas.